Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Torie, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. I'm excited for today's podcast episode because it's something that I have personally been going through a lot lately, and I feel like I have experience with and I did a lot of research on, and I'm excited to share it with you guys so that we can kind of go through it together. And so, yeah, we're going to be talking about how to get out of feeling stuck in life, some habits that you may have that are making you feel like you're stuck, and how to get through those. So that's really the vibes today. I personally feel like I have been struggling with the idea that feeling stuck in life automatically means that you're a failure. And that's not true at all. And I've kind of been working through that personally. So I'm excited to share with you what I've learned and how to get through that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Before I jump in, don't forget to follow, comment, do all the engagement things. It really, really helps out my podcast, and it's free, and it takes about 2 seconds. So you would be the nicest person in the world if you did that, and I would love you forever. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. So, a habit that may be keeping you stuck, or definitely is wallowing. Feeling like everything sucks, feeling like the world's out to get you, wallowing in the feeling of being stuck. And we've all been there. I've been there. I was literally there yesterday. Just this feeling of there's nothing I can do about it. I'm stuck. I've tried everything. Nothing's gonna get better. The wallowing of, man, I'm stuck in life. So how can you do that? How can you get out of that? It's a lot of letting go of control. And I know that's hard. I'm a type A person. I have anxiety. I have OCD. I have depression. So whenever I have to let go of control, I freak out a little bit. But a way that I found to mitigate that and kind of take that pressure away is to ask someone else to take it on. And I'm not talking about a person. Regardless of your religious beliefs, there's someone you can ask. Ask your spirit guides, ask God, ask the universe, whoever it may be, ask them to take on the burden and help you get out of this situation. And even just asking them and being okay, I can't do this, I need your help, I am calling upon you to help me with this. I felt instantly better because you're just taking the pressure off of yourself and you're lifting that weight off your shoulders. And I'm not saying that you're just gonna give it to God and then never do anything again. You're still gonna work towards getting out, but it takes away that feeling mentally and emotionally so that you don't feel weighed down so much. You're tricking your brain and accepting that you may be stuck, but you're not gonna be stuck forever, and there's things to help you. Whether it's religion or friends or whatever, there are things out there, people, things that can help you get through this. And it's not going to be this way forever. So accepting instead of wallowing and passing that weight onto something else is the first step for me. And that's where I found that I built a foundation to work from. Being negative, this is different than wallowing. I think wallowing is when you're very much in your feels, not moving. Being negative is in general. An example that I know drives me insane is there's a lot of construction around my city, but also my neighborhood right now. So if I go anywhere, there's a 99.9% chance I'm going to be stuck in traffic. People are going to try and cut me off. It's a common thing that I'm probably going to end up with someone trying to cut me off. There's going to be a lot of angry drivers, negative energy, and it's not great. And I think that it's really easy for me to be negative and say, when someone cuts me off, oh, thanks a lot, buddy. Oh, hope you get to your place faster. Oh, what was that for? Or to honk and be super negative. And one thing I've started trying to do, because I've been trying to be less negative in general, is when that happens to say, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they need to get home for an emergency. Maybe they need to get somewhere for an emergency. Maybe they are having a worse day than I'm having and they just need to get home. You don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And when you start to think of it from that perspective, it's a lot easier to give grace and be oh, this isn't so bad. And to have a positive reaction when you want to be negative. So being negative is only going to bring on more negativity. Like attracts like, negative attracts negative. So you want to change your outlook on life as soon as possible. And another way that I try and do this is flip the script, and rewiring your brain, which is kind of the same thing. This is probably going to be the hardest part of this entire process because you're rewiring your brain, and that doesn't happen overnight, and you have to catch yourself every single time. And if you get into a negative mindset where everything is negative, it's a lot of catching yourself and a lot of constantly redirecting. So when you start to have a negative thought, replace it with a positive thought. I think the very, very typical common one is talking about your own personal body. If you look in the mirror and say, I'm so ugly, replace that with I'm so beautiful. And that's the very, very common example. But you can do that with everything. There's nothing to eat in my house can turn into, oh cool, I get to learn how to bake something new. What ingredients do I have? There's a lot of things that you think are just like normal inconveniences that can become a positive outlook. You just have to rewire your brain. So another thing that I do when I feel very negative is I get super, super picky about my environment, and I'm very careful about what I listen to, what I watch, what I'm around. I know for me, sad, angry, negative, upsetting music gets me very down. Like, I love Taylor Swift, but Tortured Poets Department, all of the breakup songs make me sad. And so I can't listen to it on repeat or it's going to be sad. And I know that about myself. Same thing goes with like a TV show or like a gossip channel. Sometimes I really get into the vibes of watching like the YouTube commentary channels, but I have to stop myself and say, hey, you're watching a lot of commentary and a lot of this is negative and a lot of this is gossipy and a lot of this is not putting the positive energy out that you want in your life. So looking at your environment and saying, okay, what is going to get me a more positive response or get me in a better mood? And that's what you need to be surrounding yourself with. So you need to take care of what's currently on your plate before more things happen. So for me, a common thing that I do is I'll be drowning in all the things going on in my life, and I'll be like, I can't do this, I have too much going on. But then simultaneously, I'll be like, I feel stuck in life, I want more, I want this, I want that. Why would God or the universe or whatever you believe give me more if I can't even handle what I have? So you're not ready if you can't even handle what's on your plate. And maybe you need to take some things off your plate. That doesn't mean you have to master everything. Just take some things off your plate. Or you need to master everything. Whatever you feel you need to do, what the call of action is for you personally, you just need to master what's on your plate, whatever it is. So clean it out, fill it up, whatever works for you, but you need to be able to take care and confidently look around and say, this is all under control, because why would more chaos be added if you can't handle the chaos you have? Like, that would just end in a bigger disaster, whether you think you're ready or not. Stop distracting yourself or holding the wrong energy. Example is, I tend to spend a lot of my free time doom scrolling on Facebook specifically, or playing games on my phone. I'll like turn on something on TV and play a game on my phone. I could have cleaned my entire house. I could have read a book. I could have ate a healthy meal. I could have gone to the gym and worked out. Like, there are so many things that I could have done in that time that I was doom scrolling for an hour. And stop doing it. That's what's getting in your way. Like, you're sitting here being like, I'm so stuck in life, and it gets you down, and so you get in that cycle of I'm down, so I need a dopamine, or is it dopamine boost? Words are, you know what I'm saying. So you get the phone out and you play the game and you're like, oh, I won. And then you play some more and then you say, I wonder what's going on Facebook. I want to see the neighborhood drama. And then you scroll and you look at every single post that has popped up in the past 2 days on the neighborhood post, and you're like, wow, Cindy from 3 streets away is really mad at Bob because his dog's barking. And then for some reason you feel like that's a good way to spend your time because you're like, now I know this information, so if I ever run into Cindy, I can talk about Bob or Cindy or whatever. And stop. Just stop. Like, none of that matters. If it doesn't matter and it doesn't align with your end goal, get rid of it. Get serious. If you're not serious about your vibes, your future, like going forward, what you want, then why would it be serious about you? Why would you call that into your life if you're just messing around, playing Angry Birds and then being like, I don't understand why I feel so stuck. Let's get back to playing Angry Birds now. Like, I've been you, and that's why I'm being a little harsh. Bestie, I'm saying it because someone needs to be, like, harsh in a loving way, and that's me. And it's because I need to be harsh with myself. So I'm telling this to myself and not just you. So don't feel like I'm, like, yelling at you or talking down to you. We're all in this together, and we're all talking about it. What the heck? Oh, sorry, I got a message and I got very confused for a second because I didn't know who it was from. Yeah, this can relate to your diet, this can relate to your friendships, this can relate to any aspect of your life that you feel like you're just messing around and not getting serious about it. And you can sit there and be like, I wish things were this way all day, but until you make it happen, they're not gonna become that way. It's not just gonna poof be that way. So get serious, and if you want better, it's time to be better. One little, like, side part to that is setting boundaries. I have so many podcast episodes about setting boundaries, so I'm not going to go on a whole tangent about that, but setting boundaries is what allows you to meet your goals. So if you are trying to get serious, it's okay to set boundaries and say, hey, my phone's going on do not disturb from this time to this time so that I can focus on this. If you need anything, call so-and-so. I do that a lot. I'll have days where I'm like, this is a mental health day. My phone's going do not disturb. If you need anything, call Josh. And setting boundaries are healthy. They're good. They're not mean. They're good for everyone. Stop mimicking others. If you want to do something amazing, you have to be different. And when I say others, I don't mean like someone you look up to who has like your dream job. If it's someone who you want to be in their shoes, then I get it. Like, say you look up to an influencer and you want to be an influencer one day. Totally understand. We need mentors. We need people to look up to. But if you're trying to mimic someone who is in a job that you don't want to do, they're in a relationship you wouldn't want to be in, they live in a place where you don't want to live, like, stop. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to follow the norm and then expect something different. Like, expect anything other than the norm. You need to stop comparing and don't be afraid to be cringy. What do I mean by that? Stop comparing yourself to other people and trying to mimic them. Stop comparing yourself to the people you want to become, other influencers, for example, things like that, because you're in your own lane, and it's okay to be cringy. You're going to have to be cringy if you want to be different, because you're doing something that's different, and people are going to be cringed out by that, whether it stems from jealousy, whether it stems from them just not knowing any better, like they haven't been exposed to something like that. People are going to cringe, and let them. Literally, who cares? Yeah, so stop comparing to anyone. You're in your own world. You are in a box. So one thing for me is I grew up in the Bible Belt. I went to a Baptist school. All of my friends are pretty much married with babies that I still talk to. And I'm not, like, at all. And I think that for a long time, growing up, I assumed that by the time I was 25, I would be married with babies. Like, a long time. Like, I probably until I was 22, I genuinely thought, like, oh, by the time I turn 25, like, I'm gonna be married, we're gonna own a house, and I'm gonna have babies. Because that's what everyone does. And I think that I've had to come to terms with that version of myself never coming to fruition. It's not that it won't, it's just that it hasn't in the time frame that I thought it would, as well as everyone pushed on me that it should. And I also can't compare to everybody else and say, well, this is how it's supposed to be. So there's a layering there. And I think that can apply to a lot of people. You probably have a place where you thought you should be at this point. You probably thought you were going to have that job. You probably thought you were going to be married. You probably thought you were going to own a house. And maybe you didn't, because we've been through a pandemic and a recession in the span of 4 years. So don't be so hard on yourself. Stay in your own lane. Stop comparing. Don't compare to the version of yourself that doesn't exist that you thought would, because everything happens for a reason. and you're on your own path to do something even greater. And it doesn't mean that all those things that you want and won't ever happen. It just didn't happen in the time frame that you thought it would, because something even more amazing is in the works. It's really important to write down how you feel and then let it go. I'm extremely emotional. I don't know if you're a horoscope person or not, but I'm a Cancer moon, which means I wear my heart on my sleeve and I cry at least once a day. So for me, it's really easy for me to get caught up in my emotions and just like cry and be sad and be down. And a way that I have found stops that from continuing on is writing it down and then saying, okay, it's out. Okay, we're done. Got it out of my system. And I do feel like it's gone. Like, I feel like it's out of my system. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders and I feel better. So keep a journal. And you can look back on it and see how far you've come. Just keep a journal of how you're feeling. Every day, write down how you feel. Write down how much you've progressed. Write down whatever you need to write down to feel better. And let it go. But also reflect on it if you need to. Welcome change. One thing I have realized is I have a really hard time with change. Like, I am terrified of change. I have, for a very long time, turned down great opportunities because I knew that it would be a lot of change and it would scare me. And so I was like, nope, can't do that. Like, the change literally scared me away. And that is not good. That's not how you should live. That is not the vibes we're going for. If change is the only problem with the entire situation, don't let it scare you away, because you should be going off of your gut feelings, which we're going to talk about in a second. Your intuition is what's going to guide you to what you're meant to be doing. And you have a gut feeling when you should or shouldn't do something. And for a long time, I thought that my fear of change was my gut feeling telling me I shouldn't do something, but it was fear. It wasn't my gut. And so I've learned to embrace change, because that's the only way that things are going to get better. You're going to have to make some really big changes. So on the topic of intuition, I'm guessing that you're having a hard time hearing or feeling your intuition because your nervous system is probably out of whack because you're stressed and anxious. Same girl. This is how you heal your nervous system so that you can listen to your intuition and hear it more easily. Because when it gets like crowded and you're overstimulated and all this stuff is going on, it's really, really, really hard to hear your intuition or feel your intuition or know right and wrong. And how do you know which path to go down if you don't have an intuition? So let's heal your nervous system. How? First, be in nature, fully immersed. We're talking, you're not texting, you're not on your phone, you're not playing a game, you're not talking to someone, you're not listening to a podcast. Have your phone, please, because you want to be safe, but you're not on it. You are in nature. No distractions. Bring your dog. Go sit in a park. The best thing you can do is ground yourself in nature. So if you don't know what that means you're taking your shoes off, putting your feet in the dirt. You are getting grounded in nature. Fully surrounded, fully immersed. You are in it. That is going to be very healing. Next, you are going to stop overstimulating yourself. I have to do this all the time to Josh because his little ADHD brain has the TV on, has his TikToks on his phone, has the TV downstairs on, has the TV in his studio on, has the whatever going, and this sound, and he has 15 lights on, and he has a flashing light on, and it's so bad for your nervous system. So turn off everything except for what you are actively watching or doing. So you don't need 15 TVs on, you need one. If you're watching TV, you don't need to be watching TikToks. Pick one. Turn one off. You don't need 15 lights on. You need a light in your room on, unless you want a lamp or something. Other than that, you don't need the light in every single room in the house on. Just really minimize stimulation where you can, because it's really bad to overstimulate your nervous system like that. It causes a lot of stress for me. I don't know how he doesn't get extremely stressed. I like to turn on like the TV really low or turn it off. And then in my room, I have a salt lamp, I have a candle, I have a sunset lamp, and then I have twinkly lights. But they're in different parts of the room, so they're not like on top of each other. And they create like a calm vibe. And that is what I do instead of having the overhead light on and like 15 different TVs and TikTok. Like, that is my vibe. That is how I try to calm myself down and go to sleep. Stop overstimulating yourself with unnecessary things. Unnecessary things, yeah. Hugging, cuddling, and embracing others releases endorphins and oxytocin, which is really beneficial and heals your nervous system. Just relieve your anxiety in any way that is natural and works for you. So, a weighted blanket, grounding outside, as long as it's a natural tactic. I'm not talking like drugs or anything like that. We're good. We don't need to be doing that. We want to find a natural grounding tactic that works to relieve anxiety. Maybe it's taking a bath. Maybe it's taking a salt bath. Maybe it's turning out the lights. Like, whatever it is. Schedule in time for you and your soul activities. So I call soul activities anything that feed my soul. Anything that I enjoy, whether that's painting, whether that's sitting outside with my dog, whether that's playing the piano. Those are things that feed my soul, so I call them a soul activity. So you're going to schedule time not just for self-care, but to feed your soul and do something that makes you happy and makes you feel fulfilled. I don't know why I'm struggling to talk, but we're just going to roll with it. Things that bring you peace. I don't know if you've known or heard of this or not, but it has been like a proven tactic to help with anxiety and fix your nervous system. Shake off negative or anxious energy by dancing. Just have a dance party. Cold plunges. I've never done one. I really want to, but I know they work wonders and they shock your like nervous system to reset it. So definitely try that if you can. Eating healthy fats. Healthy fats build nerve tissue, so including like your brain and your nerves, and also are good for your hormones. So it's really, really important to eat healthy fats. Also, getting good sleep. I personally can't do without 8 hours. I feel like 8-hour minimum is a good standard way to go about it, but it's your body. You know how much sleep you need. Try and get 8 hours minimum. So those are all the ways to heal your nervous system. You are going to feel so much better after you heal it, and you can listen to your intuition, and then you know which direction to go in, and you're a lot more trusting of yourself. Soul searching. This one's important and a little woo-woo, but ask yourself what you truly want in life. What do you want? Is what you are looking for, that thing that you want to do, is that actually what you want? Or is it just what everyone told you want? Is it just what everyone else was like, I think she would be good at that. I think she should get this degree because she would be good at that. I think she should move to this place because she'd be good at that. I think she should work hard at work because she would get promoted. Like, are these all things that people imposed on you? Or are these things that you truly want for yourself and are feeding your soul? If you don't know what you want, because I know, at this point, I don't know what I want. I don't know. I'm just winging it. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm kind of in this phase right now. But if you don't know, it's time to get to know yourself. Take yourself on dates. Watch new things. Listen to new documentaries. Try new hobbies. Make new friends. Be open to new opportunities. This is how you're going to find out what you want. And don't be super judgmental, like, oh, I could never do this, or, oh, I wouldn't be good at this, or, oh, so-and-so wants me to go do this, but nah. Like, don't be judgmental about it. Be open to trying new things, because you never know. You never know. It could click and you would be naturally amazing at something, and it's your whole calling in life. Balance the hermit inside of you with filling your soul, because I feel like when you're doing all this, you're basically doing a hard reset on your life, and it's very easy to become like the hermit and not really experience outside life. Like, you're just like internal, trying to figure this out, trying to get through. And I think it's important to remind yourself to still just like be a part of society, like go out with friends and go read a book at a coffee shop. Like, get out and still fill your soul with life, because you're getting like that life vibe outside of yourself, outside of this internal hermit. So make sure you're getting out. So if you are about to do a reset, be open to it and kind to yourself. 100%. You need to be kind to yourself through this process. You may think that you found what you want to do for the rest of your life and you're like, cool, I'm not stuck anymore. And then a month later, you're back. You just don't know. So it's important to be kind to yourself and be willing to fail and start over and get through life. I did find some quotes that I wanted to read to you because I felt like they related to this, and some of them are cheesy, but bear with me because they are beneficial and I think you would benefit from them as well. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. Remember that, besties. The trick is that as long as you know who you are and what makes you happy, it doesn't matter how others see you. Exactly. Heal your inner child, be cringy, stay in your own lane. You don't need anybody else's approval to be happy. Your speed doesn't matter, forward is forward. The 3 C's in life: choice, chance, change. You must make the choice to take the chance if you want anything in life to change. High risk, high reward, which is scary, but it's true. And the last thing I want to leave you with is, as long as you keep fighting to change, you haven't failed, which I needed reminded of, and shout out to Josh for reminding me of that. As long as you keep fighting, you haven't failed. So I love you, besties, so, so much. Our next episode is going to be a story episode because I'm bulk filming because I have to work and, crazy times. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you have a great week. Let me know what your favorite tip from this was, as well as if you have any other tips that you want to add. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I upload every single Sunday. I try to do bonus episodes on Wednesday. It hasn't happened lately just because I'm in the busy season of my job, but my last week of busyness is in November, and then I'll be done until January probably. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be back to doing Sunday and Wednesday pretty regularly. But that's pretty much it. I love you guys. Please go enjoy the nice fall weather if it is nice where you are. It's super nice in fall here, so I know I will be. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Love you.
You was the first